Fried chicken looks like one of the most familiar foods in America today. It sits in buckets, drive-through bags, family kitchens, gas station counters, church suppers, football parties, airport terminals, late-night cravings, and holiday tables. It can feel cheap, comforting, crispy, messy, and ordinary all at once. But fried chicken is not just chicken in hot oil. It is a food with a history full of migration, survival, labor, race, technology, marketing, regional pride, and the strange American talent for turning a simple craving into a national industry. Before fried chicken became fast food, before buckets became family dinner, before sandwiches caused online chaos, before Nashville hot chicken became a national obsession, it was a dish shaped by people who had to make flavor out of difficulty. That is why the history of fried chicken is not just the history of a recipe. It is the history of who cooked, who profited, who was remembered, who was erased, and why crispy food can carry a much deeper story than it seems. The basic idea of frying chicken is older than the United States. People around the world learned that cooking meat in fat could make it richer, safer, and more satisfying. In parts of Europe, especially Scotland, chicken was sometimes fried in fat. In West African cooking traditions, frying and seasoning food with deep flavor also had long roots. When these worlds met in the American South through colonization, forced migration, slavery, and settlement, fried chicken began to take on a distinctly American form. But it did not happen in a clean, happy story. It happened inside one of the most brutal systems in American history. Enslaved Africans and their descendants brought skill, memory, spice knowledge, technique, and creativity into Southern kitchens, even while they were denied freedom, wages, and recognition. They cooked for themselves, for enslavers, for households, for markets, and eventually for customers. Their labor helped define what Southern food would become, but for a long time, the people behind that labor were treated as background instead of creators. Fried chicken survived because it was useful. Chickens were smaller than pigs or cattle, easier to raise, and quicker to cook. A chicken could be kept by poor families, farm families, and enslaved people in ways larger livestock could not. Frying made the meat flavorful and portable, and unlike some foods, fried chicken could taste good hot, warm, or even cold. That mattered in a world before modern refrigeration, fast highways, and microwave ovens. A fried chicken meal could travel to a field, a church picnic, a train ride, a roadside stand, or a family gathering. It was food that could move. It was also food that could turn a small bird into something special. Flour, seasoning, fat, and heat could make chicken feel festive. That is one reason fried chicken became tied to Sunday dinners, holidays, reunions, and celebrations. It was not always everyday food. For many families, killing and frying a chicken meant company was coming, church was over, or something important was happening. The crisp crust was part of the pleasure, but the occasion was part of the flavor too. In the South, fried chicken became deeply connected to Black cooking traditions. Black cooks perfected seasoning, timing, dredging, frying, and serving. They understood that great fried chicken is a balance of moisture and crunch, salt and spice, bone and skin, patience and heat. Too cool and the chicken turns greasy. Too hot and the crust burns before the inside is done. Too little seasoning and it tastes flat. Too much handling and the crust falls apart. Good fried chicken looks simple, but it is not simple to do well. It requires judgment. That judgment was passed through families, communities, restaurants, and home kitchens. But fried chicken also became trapped inside racist stereotypes. During the 19th and 20th centuries, American popular culture often used fried chicken in degrading images of Black people, even though Black cooks had helped make the dish great. This is one of the complicated truths of American food history. The country often loves the food of marginalized people while disrespecting the people who created it. Fried chicken became beloved, mocked, commercialized, and misunderstood at the same time. That tension never fully disappeared. To tell the history honestly, you have to hold both truths together. Fried chicken is comfort food, but it also carries the weight of American racism. It is a dish of skill, pride, and memory, but also a dish that was used in cruel caricatures. Food can be delicious and political at the same time, even when people want it to be simple. After the Civil War, fried chicken became an important food for Black entrepreneurs, especially women. Some black women sold fried chicken to travelers at train stations, along roads, and in towns where food service was limited. Because fried chicken traveled well, it could become a business. It could be cooked at home and sold outside the home. That mattered in a country where economic opportunity was restricted by racism and sexism. Fried chicken became a way to earn money, build reputation, and feed communities. In some places, black women became famous for their chicken, even if history did not preserve their names as carefully as it preserved the names of later white businessmen. That pattern matters because when fried chicken became a national fast food empire, the public story often shifted away from the cooks who built the foundation. The food became branded, franchised, standardized, and sold back to America under corporate names. The most famous name in that transformation was Colonel Harlan Sanders. Sanders did not invent fried chicken, but he became one of the most successful marketers of it. His story is almost too perfectly American. A roadside cook, a secret recipe, a white suit, a string tie, a goatee, and a carefully built character that turned chicken into theater. Sanders ran a service station in Kentucky and served meals to travelers. Over time, his fried chicken gained a reputation. The problem was speed. Traditional pan-fried chicken could take time, and roadside customers did not always want to wait. Pressure frying helped solve that problem by cooking chicken faster while keeping it juicy. That technology mattered. It allowed fried chicken to move from home cooking and local restaurants into a repeatable commercial system. Kentucky Fried Chicken grew because it combined a strong image with a product that could be reproduced. The secret blend of herbs and spices became a marketing legend. The bucket became a family symbol. The Colonel became a human logo. KFC did not just sell chicken. It sold trust, nostalgia, Southern identity, and the idea that dinner could arrive in a container big enough for everyone. By the 1960s and 1970s, fried chicken was becoming national and then global. KFC expanded across the United States and eventually around the world. In many countries, KFC became one of the first American fast food chains people encountered. That is strange when you think about it. A food with deep roots in the American South, black cooking, roadside restaurants, and home kitchens became a global symbol of American convenience. In Japan, KFC became famously associated with Christmas. In China, KFC adapted aggressively to local taste and became a major fast food force. Around the world, fried chicken changed its seasoning, sauces, sides, and meaning depending on where it landed. But the basic promise stayed the same. Crispy outside, juicy inside, familiar enough to trust, exciting enough to crave. Fried chicken also changed inside the United States. Regional styles grew stronger. Southern fried chicken stayed tied to family meals and soul food restaurants. In Louisiana and New Orleans, seasoning became louder, spicier, and more closely tied to Creole and Cajun flavor traditions. Popeyes, founded in New Orleans in 1972, brought a different energy to national fried chicken. It was not the same as KFC. It leaned into spice, red beans and rice, biscuits, and a stronger regional identity. Popeyes understood that fried chicken could be fast food without tasting quiet. Then there is Nashville hot chicken, a style with a story as dramatic as the food itself. The famous legend says Nashville hot chicken began as revenge. A man named Thornton Prince was supposedly served extremely spicy fried chicken by a girlfriend who was angry at him, but he loved it so much that it became the basis for a restaurant tradition. Whether every part of the legend is exact or polished by time, Nashville hot chicken became real enough to change American menus. The style is not just spicy chicken. It is fried chicken coated with a fiery paste of cayenne and hot oil, often served on white bread with pickles. The bread catches the oil. The pickles cut the heat. The chicken burns and comforts at the same time. Prince's Hot Chicken Shack became the legendary center of the style, and for decades, Nashville hot chicken was a local black food tradition before the rest of America discovered it, copied it, Instagrammed it, and turned it into a trend. That is another familiar food history pattern. A local black culinary tradition becomes famous, then gets adapted by national chains and upscale restaurants, sometimes with credit, sometimes without enough credit. By the 21st century, fried chicken was everywhere again, but the center of attention shifted from bone in pieces to sandwiches. The fried chicken sandwich became one of the biggest fast food battlegrounds in America. Chick-fil-A had built a huge business around chicken sandwiches, customer service, waffle fries, and a very controlled brand identity. Its sandwich was simple: breaded chicken, bun, pickles. But simple can be powerful when it is consistent. Then Popeyes launched its chicken sandwich in 2019, and the internet turned it into a national event. People argued, lined up, posted reviews, compared crunch, sauce, bun, and pickles, and treated a fast food sandwich like a cultural referendum. The so-called chicken sandwich wars were funny, but they also revealed something serious about modern food. A single menu item could become entertainment, identity, social media content, and corporate competition all at once. Fried chicken had moved from Sunday table to roadside business to global chain to viral object. The sandwich wars proved that fried chicken was not old news. It could still create urgency. Part of fried chicken's power is texture. Humans love contrast, and fried chicken is built on contrast. The crust is crisp, rough, salty, and loud. The meat inside is soft, juicy, and mild. The skin carries fat and seasoning. The bite has sound. That sound matters more than people realize. Crunch tells the brain something is fresh, hot, and satisfying. A silent fried chicken crust feels disappointing. A loud crust feels alive. This is why fried chicken advertising often focuses on breaking, biting, tearing, and crunching. The sound is part of the seduction, but texture is fragile. Fried chicken is difficult to keep perfect because steam is the enemy of crunch. Put hot fried chicken in a closed container too long and the crust softens. Let it sit too long and the meat dries. Make the crust too thick and it becomes heavy. Make it too thin and it disappears. The entire business of fast fried chicken is partly a battle against time, steam, and distance. That is why packaging matters. That is why holding cabinets matter. That is why drive-through speed matters. The restaurant is not just cooking chicken, it is trying to deliver a moment before it collapses. Fried chicken also depends on sides. In America, fried chicken rarely travels alone. It brings mashed potatoes, gravy, biscuits, coleslaw, mac and cheese, collard greens, cornbread, potato salad, fries, rice, beans, pickles, honey, hot sauce, or ranch. The sides change the meaning of the meal. Fried chicken with collard greens and cornbread feels like soul food. Fried chicken with biscuits and gravy feels southern. Fried chicken with waffles becomes brunch, history, and indulgence on one plate. Fried chicken with fries becomes fast food. Fried chicken with pickles and white bread becomes hot chicken. Fried chicken with rice can belong to 100 other traditions. The bird is the center, but the plate tells you where you are. Fried chicken and waffles is one of the most famous examples of that layered meaning. The combination has roots that people debate, with connections often made to Black culinary traditions, late-night restaurants, jazz culture, and places like Wells Supper Club in Harlem. The magic is contrast again: salty chicken, sweet syrup, crisp waffle, rich butter. It feels like breakfast and dinner refusing to stay separate. Like many iconic foods, it sounds odd until you taste it. Then it makes immediate sense. Fried chicken also became a gas station legend. In many parts of America, especially the South, some of the best fried chicken is not found in a polished restaurant, but under heat lamps at a gas station, convenience store, or small counter attached to somewhere practical. That may sound strange, but it fits the history. Fried chicken has always been food for movement. Road trips, workers, travelers, truck drivers, families, and people passing through all need food that is hot, filling, and portable. Gas station fried chicken can be surprisingly good because it does not pretend to be delicate. It is direct food for hungry people. That is very close to the old logic of fried chicken. The food goes where the people are. Another reason fried chicken survives is that every culture can make it its own. Korean fried chicken, with its thin, crackly crust and sticky sauces, became a major global force. Double frying creates a different kind of crunch, and sauces like soy garlic or spicy gochujang turn the chicken glossy and intense. Japanese karaage uses smaller marinated pieces, often with soy, ginger, and garlic, creating juicy bites that feel different from southern fried chicken, but share the same deep appeal. Taiwanese popcorn chicken, often seasoned with 5-spice and basil, became a street food favorite. Across the Caribbean, Latin America, Africa, and Southeast Asia, fried chicken takes on local spices, marinades, starches, and serving styles. This is important because fried chicken is not one single invention owned by one place. It is a technique and a craving that many cultures developed in their own ways. The American version is powerful, but it is part of a much larger fried chicken universe. Still, in the United States, fried chicken carries a uniquely heavy story because of its connection to race, labor, and Southern identity. Soul food restaurants helped preserve and celebrate Black culinary traditions when mainstream food culture often ignored them. Fried chicken became one of the dishes people expected, loved, and judged carefully. But expectation can be complicated. When a food becomes symbolic, it can become a burden as well as a badge of pride. Some Black chefs and writers have had to navigate the tension between honoring fried chicken and resisting the stereotypes attached to it. That is part of the modern conversation around the dish. It is not enough to say fried chicken is beloved. We also have to ask who is allowed to love it publicly, who is credited for it, who gets paid from it, and who gets reduced by it. At the same time, fried chicken is not frozen in history. New chefs keep changing it. Some brine the chicken in buttermilk, pickle juice, tea, or seasoned salt water. Some use potato starch, cornstarch, rice flour, or wheat flour. Some fry in cast iron, some in pressure fryers, some in deep fryers. Some go classic with salt, pepper, paprika, and garlic. Others use beurre, jerk seasoning, chili oil, curry leaves, ranch powder, or hot honey. Fried chicken is old, but it keeps accepting new ideas. Hot honey is one of the best examples of a modern flavor bridge. Sweetness and heat both work with fried chicken because the crust loves contrast. Honey clings to the rough surface. Chili cuts through the fat. The result feels new and familiar at the same time, which is exactly where many successful American foods live. Fried chicken is also central to the story of chicken itself becoming America's dominant meat. For much of American history, chicken was not as cheap and constant as it is now. Industrial poultry farming changed that. Breeding, feed efficiency, processing plants, refrigeration, transportation, and fast food demand turned chicken into a mass-produced protein. That made fried chicken cheaper, more available, and more profitable. But it also raised serious questions about animal welfare, worker safety, environmental impact, and the conditions inside poultry plants. The modern fried chicken meal depends on a huge industrial system most customers never see. Once again, comfort food has hidden machinery behind it. The bucket, the sandwich, or the wing is the visible part. Behind it are farms, factories, cold chains, franchise systems, marketing teams, and workers moving fast under pressure. Wings deserve their own place in the story too. Buffalo wings began as a bar food phenomenon tied to Buffalo, New York, and the Anchor Bar origin story, though like many food origin stories, details are debated. What matters is that wings turned a once overlooked part of the chicken into a national obsession. Fried wings tossed in hot sauce and butter, served with celery and blue cheese, became sports bar food, Super Bowl food, and party food. Wings show how fried chicken can break into pieces and create whole subcultures. Drumsticks, thighs, breasts, tenders, nuggets, wings, sandwiches, and popcorn chicken are all different answers to the same craving. Each form changes the audience. Bone-in chicken feels traditional. Tenders feel easy and kid-friendly. Nuggets feel industrial and snackable. Wings feel social. Sandwiches feel modern and competitive. Fried chicken is not one product. It is a family of formats. Chicken tenders and nuggets are especially important because they removed bones, reduced mess, and made chicken easier to dip, package, and sell to children. 2. The nugget may not feel like traditional fried chicken, but it is part of the same industrial story. Chicken made portable, uniform, and addictive. Once sauce enters the picture, the food becomes even more customizable. Barbecue, honey mustard, ranch, buffalo, sweet and sour, Polynesian, comeback sauce, gravy, and hot sauce all let people personalize the bite. Fried chicken became a platform long before people used that word for food. It is protein plus crust plus sauce plus memory. That is why it works in so many business models. A family restaurant can sell it, a drive-through can sell it, a gas station can sell it, a fine dining chef can reinterpret it. A home cook can guard a recipe for decades. A chain can build an empire on it. A food truck can make it spicy enough to become a local legend. Fried chicken is democratic in the sense that many people can understand it, but it is not equal in the sense that everyone has been credited or rewarded fairly. That contradiction is the heart of the story. The dish belongs to home cooks, enslaved cooks, black entrepreneurs, Southern families, immigrant cooks, industrial systems, global chains, and modern chefs all at once. No single story can hold it completely. But if there is one reason fried chicken became so powerful, it is because it turns hardship into pleasure. A cheap bird can become a celebration. A tough day can end with something hot and crisp. A roadside stop can become a memory. A family recipe can carry generations. A restaurant can become a community landmark. A sandwich can become a national argument. The food is physical, but the meaning is emotional. When you bite into fried chicken, you are not just tasting salt, fat, flour, and meat. You are tasting a technique shaped by migration, a Southern dish shaped by black skill, a business shaped by technology, a fast food empire shaped by branding, and a modern craving shaped by crunch. That does not mean every bite has to feel serious. Sometimes fried chicken is just dinner, and that is part of its beauty. But behind the ordinary pleasure is a complicated American story. Fried chicken became iconic because it could be home food and road food, poor food and celebration food, local food and global fast food, comfort food and controversy. It could sit on a church table, in a bucket, on a waffle, in a sandwich, beside pickles, under hot honey, or inside a paper box on the passenger seat of a car. It survived because it is adaptable, craveable, and unforgettable. The outside is crisp, the inside is tender, and the history is anything but simple. So the next time fried chicken shows up in a basket, a bucket, a sandwich, or a family kitchen, look past the crunch for a second. That little piece of chicken carries centuries of cooking knowledge, pain, pride, marketing, movement, and memory. It is one of America's greatest comfort foods because it never belonged to only one kind of comfort. It fed workers, travelers, families, church crowds, late-night strangers, and people who needed something good in a hard world. Fried chicken looks simple, but like the best American foods, it is a whole country hiding inside one bite.